Today we have another young Indian as part of the Voice of the Young series. Hello everyone, good to be with you again. Today we have with us Parama Kundu from Kolkata. She is an aspiring economist, but much more than an economist. So let's hear from her. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. Firstly, thank you so much, sir, for having me here today and giving me this platform. I'll start by giving a brief introduction of myself and where I am based at right now. So I'm currently working at a leading market research firm, though my location is in Bangalore, but our firm provides us with the option of working from home. And so I'm currently working out of my hometown, which is Kolkata. Prior to this, I have done my bachelor's in economics from Loreto College, Kolkata, and then pursued master's in economics from University of Calcutta. So while I was pursuing my bachelor's at Loreto College, apart from my academics, I was a part of a lot of co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So there we used to have a program of social hours through which basically we could give back to the society in whatever way we wished. And that's when, for the first time, I got associated with a non-profit organization, Children in Pain, where I was teaching the children from the underprivileged background after our college hours. Sometimes we even visited schools in the village areas to, conduct value inculcating classes and then create awareness about sanitation, hygiene. And it got a very good response. The kids from the schools also used to used to get very excited upon seeing us, and we also eventually started getting very close to them.
Okay,
So
define who's us, who's we, who's us.
So there was a social service society in our college. So all of them took this initiative where we used to go to the villages and teach the children the basic maths, the basic English, and we. After seeing a good response, we started going there weekly and we started taking tests and all of that. Throughout the 3 years in my college at Loreto, we have been doing that. And now also, now and then, we kind of make a visit, but there are other people now who have taken over. So that's how my journey in the community service sector started back in 2016. Now, fast forward to year 2020, I was doing my master's in economics when the pandemic hit, and it stalled the economy across all the sectors with complete closure. So I was sitting at home, attending online classes, reading the daily news, and it was absolutely horrifying. I had a roof over my head, I had food on my plate, and my family was there with me. So I had everything, but not everyone had what I did. So I wanted to do something for the society that would make a difference. And that's when I came across an opportunity at a think tank based out of Delhi, who were conducting a research on the impact of COVID-19 on the village homemakers and what could their future prospects look like. So the objective was to study the socio-economic implications of the pandemic through the gendered lens. This internship taught me a lot of things, starting from how to conduct meaningful research, despite the limitation of not being physically present on site, to gaining knowledge about on-ground implementation of governmental relief schemes in the rural areas. My study involved around the female respondents who aged 18 to 75, mainly from the state of West Bengal. So we employed the snowballing method to collect quantitative data, and all of this was done via the telephonic interview.
Okay.
The main purpose was to ask them extensively formulated questions to the informally employed female workers who are coming from the rural background and assess how COVID had affected their livelihood.
So where were they working? They were employed, but employed in the village or in the city?
No, that's the key thing. So whenever we used to ask them whether they were working or not, their answers always or mostly used to be no. But their schedule used to start at 5 in the morning. So they did not consider their work to be working.
Right. Earning.
So as a result, we are terming it as informal like people, women who are belonging from the informal sector, like who are working in informal sector. So the uncertainty, the anxiety, the confusion, and the misinformation about COVID were highlighted when they started opening up and sharing their experiences with me. Obviously, at first, they were also like very curious in knowing what was the purpose behind a strange caller like me asking them such exhaustive questions. But however, on explaining the purpose of the study, they used to happily answer my questions. Once I remember somebody said, "सुने तो बहुत है कि ये मिलेगा वो मिलेगा परंतु कुछ ना मिला," which can be translated as, though many things were promised, none of them got delivered till then. She was basically talking about the COVID relief policies that were promised by the government for the rural poor. So after speaking to a lot of village homemakers, I've realized that not all of them were well versed with the current developments regarding the relief funds. Like some were aware of the provision of relief schemes and cash transfers, but found the entire paperwork to be very tedious. And when we used to ask them like why, the basic reason that came out was 500 rupees would not do any good, or maybe for getting one bag of wheat they have to stand in line for say 4 hours.
Okay.
So the invisible labor offered in the private sphere, like we know it has always been neglected, and COVID has also like increased this unpaid household work that are being carried out by the women. So I was watching the other Vidpeds in this channel to understand what the journeys and the experiences of the other young professionals look like. And I remember that someone who has worked extensively in the development sector also pointed out something similar, that even though government has introduce policies that are gender focused or women focused, but the framework is such that ultimately women do not have the entire authority and they have to rely on their male counterparts.
Right.
So to quote you, real change does not come just by writing a law. It comes with better implementation.
Thank you.
And we all kind of agree that coronavirus has been a wake-up call, and it has provided several lessons in conduct of the societal and institutional lives in India, and in fact in every country of the world. And the Panchayat Raj in the village areas, that has also not been of any exception. The panchayats were at the forefront of the village level governance, and I believe they had played a pivotal role in assuring of continuous and smooth functioning of activities. Also, what I personally feel is that it is very important to have a decentralized system, since people learn how the democratic process works at a lower level, and as a result they pursue their rights and they participate more, and it is very difficult for a local council sitting in the cities to understand the ground level problems.
Yeah.
In fact, there comes in the Anganwadi and the Asha workers who have played a huge role during the COVID. Like, initially, though their services were halted for some time, but eventually that also picked up, and they were literally at the forefront of dealing with the pandemic. Like, they went door to door to distribute dry food, and then educate the villagers about the COVID appropriate behavior, and provide antenatal checkups. But like, in all times of crisis, it is mostly the women and the children who are always the hit hardest.
Okay,
Why I'm saying
let
this
me
is,
just stop you for a minute. So, do I understand you to say that the Anganwadi workers are really the face of the government for poor rural women? That's the interface. They are the face
definitely
of the
so.
government. And yet they are only volunteers and poorly paid volunteers, though I believe they've increased the pay a little bit recently, but they are not recognized anywhere. It's
Right,
and
right,
yet
so
they are the face of the government.
exactly,
You found
exactly.
that to be the case, that they are the first line where the rural women can talk to the government. Okay, everybody else is too remote.
Yes, yes, sir, absolutely. So these Anganwadi and the Asha workers, they literally had the responsibility of looking after the pregnant women and the lactating mothers.
Yeah.
And during COVID, they were working on ground, and obviously they had the risk of contracting the COVID. But they were so involved in the entire process. After having conversation with them, I realized that they kind of did not face as much hardship as a woman who had to run from pillar to post for their delivery during COVID.
Yeah.
Because majority of the government hospitals were then catering to the COVID affected patients.
Right.
And as a result, people were even scared of going to the government hospitals.
Right.
But these Anganwadi workers, like, they worked in alignment with the primary health centers, and they tried to ensure the smooth delivery and immunization process as much as possible.
Okay.
So obviously they have been at the backbone of the country's fight against undernutrition. But yes, as you said, the sad part is their remuneration still remains to be very low. And oftentimes, them being the sole earner of their family, it becomes difficult for them to have their ends meet.
Right. Okay. And I didn't quite understand what you said about the Gram Panchayat or the Gram Sabha. Could you just explain again?
So what I've understood by talking to them is that they have been at the forefront of the village level governance, and they kind of made sure that there is a continuous and smooth functioning of activities. Even the women in the panchayats, they helped in building trust among the ordinary people with the health service providers, because people were very skeptical about going to the hospital since there was COVID all around. But these women in the panchayats, with the help of the Anganwadi and the Asha workers, they helped in building the trust among the ordinary people, and of course with the health service providers.
Okay. And by the way, how did you get the phone numbers of all these women?
So the entire process was done by the snowballing method. So I knew somebody who had worked in the Rotary Southern for a longer number of years, and from there I got few contacts. And after that, I used to contact few women in the villages. Mostly the phones used to be picked up by their male counterparts, but I often used to tell them if I could speak to their female counterparts, and they used to then provide us with more numbers. And that's how it's a chain reaction. That's how I
Okay.
collected a lot of, like, I spoke to a lot of people.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's a truly random sample. You don't know what you're going to get. It just depends on the
Absolutely. But
connections.
the response has been really good.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, at first they were very skeptical, like, why are you asking me such exhaustive questions? But
Yeah.
like, upon explaining them the purpose, they always used to adjust, and sometimes they used to even call me at that point of time. I will be having other women with me, so they have their own summilans and everything. So from that, they also kind of helped me in a lot of ways,
Okay.
because obviously it would have been impossible had they not coordinated or like helped me.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. So you did manage to get enough data and you submitted it to your
Yes.
NGO. And just uh, just to summarize, what were the key things that you learned from this experience?
So what I've understood is that the idea of employing only women as the Asha and the Anganwadi workers emerged as a way to increase women's participation in the workforce. However, what I feel the truth is that it was fundamentally essential to have women exclusively working in these roles. You know how the deeply entrenched patriarchy works, and how it kind of compels society into believing that it is women's inherent duty to perform these roles. And that's why the women's labor in the formal workforce is also kind of undervalued.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, good. So I'm glad to hear your findings, and I'm really happy to hear that the Gram Panchayats did their work, because this is the first time I've heard that. Okay. I mean, mostly people say the Gram Panchayats don't do much, okay, or nothing. So yeah, I'm glad that they did something there. And I'm really happy to hear that the Anganwadi workers worked so hard and they got some good results, because that's really the interface with the official policies. We can sit and write policy papers, but ultimately it's these women who are going to do the job. Okay, good. What else?
What else? But however, like, I wanted to work for some time, wanted to learn how the industry works. And since opportunities from the private sector came in more in our university, I went forward with it and started my career in the field of data science. And also, like, I'm a strong believer of the fact that learnings in different areas and schemes, they are not isolated, and they can be transferred and molded in order to be applied in other places as well.
Okay, so what exactly is data science? For you, I mean, I don't know what it is, so I'm sure many others don't. So what is data science?
So currently what my work profile is, I'm doing market mix modeling. So basically all the major brands, they do some kind of marketing activities, or like they spend on marketing, of course, but they also want to understand how their marketing activities is impacting their sales, how much that is contributing to their sales. So we kind of analyze through data that like which media activity is driving their sales, and we kind of give a prediction on like how they can optimize their budget and spend more on a certain marketing activity than the other.
Okay.
So we kind
And
of help them to optimize their budget in the marketing activities.
okay, good. There was the head of a very famous advertising company, and they asked him, does advertising work? He says half of it works and half of it doesn't. Only I don't know which half works and which half doesn't. So it's a difficult, it's a
That
difficult
is
business.
yes, absolutely.
So he's I don't know which half works. but I know only half words. Okay. So you're a very famous guy. Okay. Anyway, so you are trying to determine the consumer response to the
Yes,
marketing activity, whether it's
right.
advertising or it's some other form of doing that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's the response of the consumers to the
Hmm.
actions of the manufacturer, the seller. Okay. Very good. Okay. So that, and that pays well. It pays well. I mean,
Sorry?
you make good money out of this. I'll be happy if you do. It pays well, right?
Yes, it does pay well. Yes.
Okay, good. It's nice to hear that. You know, people aren't scrounging for money. They're getting a good job. And what of the future?
Ah, not yet sure. Like I would like to be better in what I'm doing right now. So maybe become a master of what I'm doing.
Okay,
So yeah,
okay, all right. So you are going to let things happen as they happen, right?
yes,
Right now, you're
absolutely.
not on a chosen, selected, narrow path. It's just
No,
waiting
no.
to see what's out there. And then that's actually a very good approach. It's
Because oftentimes you plan a lot of things, but they don't go according to the plan, and then you get very depressed that this is not happening according to my plan. So maybe I'm failing at things. All of those start coming in. It's better you like you should always have a plan, but then you should always like also take its course. Like whatever comes on your way, you should take that opportunity and then build on it, I feel.
okay. You know what the smart generals say? That the first casualty of war is your planning. You plan, and then on day one, the plan is dead. So, so it's always good to be ready to be flexible, right? Especially if
Yes,
you're
actually,
towards.
I've been a chess player from a very young age, and whenever I've planned something, like maybe I'll play this opening today, it has never worked according to me, and I always had to think on the board. So
So,
I'm kind of like it has become a part of me, like from a very young age. Maybe because of
do,
that, I don't know.
so do you play chess with physically, or it's a lot of it is online these days?
These days, yes, like I used to be a part of club, and I've represented my universities and everything at different levels, but now I'm no longer a regular player. I enjoy watching it online and maybe sometimes play some tournaments online, but physically it's been really long. Like I played it back in my university days. Yeah.
Okay, so any opinion on Magnus Carlsen?
Oh my God, he's a beast.
He's a beast.
Yes.
What does that mean?
He's going to, but like Magnus Carlsen definitely, but our Indian projects are also doing very well, like Pragyananda and then Ronak, and then there are a lot of youngsters who are coming up, Divya Agarwal, all of them are doing very well, and soon they will be like, they already have taken up a lot of the chess industry, and I think they will continue to do better.
Okay, can I give
So
you?
right now we are only talking about Magnus Carlsen. Few years down the line, we'll be talking about 10 young prodigies.
Okay, so can I give you a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you introduce chess in the villages to the students whom you have been in touch with, or the women whose children can be now taught? Because chess is the cheapest thing. You don't need
Right.
equipment. You don't need to spend any money. Even if you buy a board, it's affordable. And it is
It's
the most, what should I say, logical thinking, right? And planning
right.
and thinking, planning and thinking. It's beyond me. Okay. I'm useless. I cannot play chess because you have to think 3 moves ahead, and I can't think 3 moves ahead. Okay, there's this famous line in a movie which it's like something on Bobby Fischer, right? And there's a father and son playing chess, and the father has promised the son that after the game is over, we'll go to the park. Okay, and then sometimes through the game, the son says, "Okay, Dad, let's go to the park." And his father says, "Hey, but the game isn't over." Son says, "Dad, it's over. You just don't know it." Because you have no hope. 5 moves down, you are dead. Let's go to the park. So you have to think ahead and plan ahead. So why don't you make an effort in case you have the time and the interest to actually, I've been waiting for an opportunity to tell someone this. Okay, you're the first one I have found. Okay, that we should actually, the smarter young women in school, 5th standard, 6th standard, who are hardworking, motivated. It's a kind of a stigma to be a nerd, but, so some fellow nerd should come along. I mean, I'm not using nerd in a negative sense. I'm using it in a positive sense. You should perhaps think of introducing chess. If they haven't a chess club, because there are not enough people in the village and so on. And you have all those phone numbers and contacts and so on. So you could actually say that, look, chess can be played on on your father's smartphone or the mother's smartphone, because it's available for free now, I believe. You can play chess for free, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You can play for free, and it's language neutral. There's nothing. You just have to know the pieces. Even the names you don't have to know in English or any other language. And you can just play easily and freely. And I think, as I said, I've been waiting to say this to someone. But nobody has yet said to me. Nobody said to me that they play chess. You are the first person to play high-level chess, representing your university. That means something, right? So you understand chess and international rules, Indian rules. I don't know which is used these days in India. Are they following international rules?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's all unified, right? They are following standard rules. There is
but when we were young, the placement was different for Indian Indian setting and international. We didn't have the first pawn moving 2 pieces. And, there was, the old Indian rules were different, but I guess all that has gone now. And it's just the same international rules that everybody is following. Good. So that's my hope, that you and your friends will take this up. And it's a very cheap and innovative way to connect people worldwide. Okay, because sitting in your village, you can be playing somebody who knows in which country. Right? So, okay, that's my thought of the day for you. As I said, I've been waiting for years to say this to someone. Finally, I found a willing bakra. I've caught you. Okay. Anything else on your mind?
No. Just that I would like to encourage the same thing for all the other young individuals who are watching us today. And I think we should always be open to all kinds of opportunities, because more often than not, they will always have something to offer, which one can take it forward in the future.
Okay, thank you. That's a very helpful and optimistic suggestion. You have been through you've seen the tough times in rural West Bengal, but you've come out of it still with positive things. So thank you, Parama, for being with us. Let's say bye to the viewers, and I'll be back with another young person. Basically, now I'm trying to go international, so we'll soon have somebody from Ghana and somebody from Bangladesh, perhaps Sri Lanka and Nepal, so that the young people can connect with each other. Okay, bye for now.